This is Valley News Live at 6.
We haven't talked much about sub-zero temps this winter, but we are now and will be for the next few days. Bottom line is wind chills are dangerous and we need to be careful, extra careful when outside. Let's begin by bringing in our chief meteorologist, Hutch Johnson. And Hutch, how cold is it out there right now?
Well, Mike, temperatures are still above zero for many in the Southern Valley, but wind chills are already starting to get dangerous. And we're going to start with a couple of headlines because, we want to remind you that as we have an extended period cold air, there's going to be things that you need to keep your eyes on. Number one, periodically over the next several days, check your furnace's exhaust vent for ice buildup. That blockage can cause a buildup of CO2 in your house. And furthermore, check the batteries in your carbon monoxide detector. So you definitely want to make sure of that. Check on your neighbors, your pets and livestock, and a survival kit's a must in your vehicle. Take a look at this. Temperatures by tomorrow morning where you see the blacks, we could have 40 to 50 below wind chills Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and even into Monday morning for much of the valley, although we will start to see some improvement. Want to point out we already have 40 below temperatures up in Baker Lake, and now look at what they have when we factor in the wind. Our wind chills around 11 below here in Fargo. Coldest I've seen. 83 below zero is what it feels like in Baker Lake right now. Now, we won't see 80s below zero, but it certainly looks deadly, and we'll have the latest in your hour-by-hour forecast, Mike, here in a few moments.
That is pretty amazing.
It is.
Thanks. It's the kind of weather where if you don't have to be outside, don't go outside. That's not the logic being used by a group tonight spearheaded by the sheriffs of Cass and Clay counties. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie is braving the cold with them and joins us live to explain what's going on. Courtney?
Hey Mike, it's a little bit better now that I've got some friends out here with me and we're braving the cold together, and I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about why they are doing this tonight. I have Tom and Doug here. They're with the Moorhead American Legion. Now Tom and Doug, you guys are going to be taking turns sleeping outside. Tom, you're going to be sleeping on the ground tonight. What is the reason?
I'm going to sleep on the ground just as kind of a challenge and really emphasize the homelessness issue, that not everybody has a roof over their heads on nights like tonight, and I am going to be sleeping on the ground.
Yeah, and I understand too that you guys are also wanting to provide awareness to preventing veteran suicide as well. Could you guys talk to me just a little bit about that?
There's 22 veterans that commit suicide a day, and one is too many. And we're trying to get awareness and bring awareness and end this problem.
Perfect. So how do you think you're gonna sleep tonight out in this cold?
I'm going to sleep like a baby. I'll wake up every 15 minutes and cry.
Right, I think it's worth it. You guys said we already have a lot of donations coming in, and you guys will be able to donate up until Sunday at noon. So come on out here, come visit, come donate. We'll be out here all night. Live in Moorhead, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
I like his approach. Thanks, Courtney. They're looking for cash, food, and winter clothing donations. You can swing by the Moorhead American Legion anytime through the weekend to drop your items off. Staff, guests, and volunteers with the New Life Center will also be spending the night in the cold next Wednesday, again in order to raise awareness of homelessness. We now know the name of the 60-year-old man who was killed in that Otter Tail County train crash yesterday. Authorities found the body of Joseph Mack inside a badly damaged Dodge pickup truck. The two workers aboard the Canadian Pacific train were not hurt. No word officially on what caused the crash, but the families of the victims says the railway is to blame because there were no crossarms there. Becker County authorities need your help finding a burglar. Investigators say the incident happened in the early morning hours on January 31st in Audubon, Minnesota. If you know who this is, the individual we were hoping to show you on the screen, authorities, I want you to call them at the number at 218-847-2661. There's been many thefts from motor vehicles in Grand Forks, police saying 42 incident reports were filed in January. They're reminding you to lock your doors and take any valuables with you. If you notice anything suspicious, call them. Questions linger throughout the Red River Valley tonight as the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine is one step closer to being administered in the United States. The company filed for emergency authorization for its single-use vaccine and is hoping to have thousands of vaccines shipped by March 1st. Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley brought your top 3 questions about the new vaccine to local health experts today, and she has the answers.
With around 66 to 72% efficacy, many of you are leery about the new Johnson & Johnson vaccine. But local health experts say there's no reason not to be excited about it.
So even though you still get the disease or may get the disease, you're not going to get sick enough to where it'll require hospitalization or a death.
Dr. Vetter says in that aspect, the new vaccine is similar to why we get the flu shot, but points out influenza vaccines are only about 40 to 60% effective, depending on that year's strain.
There is significant value in having a vaccine that keeps people out of the hospital and that, prevents people from dying.
Many of you have also asked if you already have natural antibodies in your system. Is this new vaccine better for those who've already had COVID? Pointing out that way we can save the highly effective doses like Pfizer for those who've not been infected.
Logically, it makes sense, right? The problem is we don't have data, to suggest that that's the right approach.
The what ifs are part of vaccine science, but in the short term, when these vaccines are just getting emergency use, and when we've studied them well enough to know that they are safe and they're effective, we just don't have all of the answers.
And while health experts say you can't choose which vaccine you do or do not get right now, Dr. Vetter says that will likely change in the future.
Once vaccine is more plentiful, then I think certainly we would want patients to have a voice and a choice as to what they want.
In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Meanwhile, a new research study by Bloomberg states that if vaccination rates stay where they are today, it will take 7 years for the United States to return to normal. And while that sounds concerning, both Vetter and Hall say not so fast.
Population quicker and vaccinate more people.
From my thinking and usual epidemiological thinking, that we will be in a much better spot at the end of the year.
As of today, at least 5 more COVID-19 vaccines are in their final phases of their clinical trials. The CDC is putting out a new app to track the vaccine side effects while reminding you when you need to get your second dose. The app is called vSafe, and it uses text messaging and web surveys to provide personalized health check-ins after you receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Depending on your answers, the CDC may call to check up on you and get more information. vSafe cannot schedule your vaccine appointments, including second doses. If you need to schedule, reschedule, or cancel a COVID-19 vaccination appointment, contact the place that set up your appointment or the vaccine provider in your area. To download vSafe, head over to vsafe.cdc.gov. If you complete your registration before 2 in the afternoon, vSafe says it will start your initial health check-in around 2 in the afternoon the same day. If you register after that time, vSafe will start your initial health check-in immediately after you register. Have you signed up for the VNL Vaccine Tracker? It's a great way to stay on top of the vaccine, the latest vaccine information. You can access national and local resources in just 2 easy steps. First, just open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen, then tap the link that pops up. Later on Valley News Live at 6, North Dakota lawmakers look at changing the process for declaring an emergency in the state.
And myself, along with Pedro, want to remind you to take care of your furry and fuzzy friends in this cold stretch of weather that will last for several days. Your hour-by-hour forecast shows how low we go through your weekend and beyond right after this.